Oi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you think, you fuck buckets. To stand out among the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud, till mine is the only face that you see. Gonna stand out till you notice me. Oh boy! Hello, Scrooge, old buddy, old pal! It's so great to see you! And it's so nice for me to hear that you're not only going on another of your great wild adventures, but you're also bringing along a new set of friends with you! And I think that's just swell! Well, thank you, Lord Digny. I didn't know you were watching. Oh, I wasn't just watching. I was impressed by how you managed to infiltrate yourself right in the center of all the action to put yourself in a position to serve me, so I invoke your contract! Now listen here, Scrooge. You're going to continue searching for this treasure of theirs, but instead of stealing it for you, you're going to steal it for me. You are going to have everything in your power to make sure that this treasure you're looking for comes to me and me alone, and use everything in your power to do so. Oh, and you will not tell anyone about this. Well, I'm just so glad that we came to an understanding about this. Happy hunting! Come on, let's go! This is a pirate episode! This is Sky Pirates in the sky! The episode begins with the ducks on another one of their adventures. Or rather, it's the end of one of their adventures, and they just got all the treasure and gold. Dewey is trying to make a statement about how he got his mystical hat of ultimate power, but everybody seems to be ignoring him. And I mean everybody. No one is giving him the time of day, which establishes the conflict. It's a Dewey-centric episode, and no one is giving him attention, and he pouts. But there's not much time for pouting, as they're immediately attacked and boarded by a bunch of sky pirates. Yar ha ha! Pirate attack! But not just any pirates, oh no. No, they dust off a relic off of the Disney shelves for this one, as we see the return of Don Carnage! The pirate. The sky pirate from Tailspin. Yeah, he's kind of the Gaston of the Disney afternoon. Speaking of which, I know people are probably wanting me to have a bigger reaction to this, but between the gummy bears and we also got cameos from Darkwing Duck, the fact that Don Carnage, a character that doesn't even appear in any of the Ducks franchises, but rather Jungle Book's Tailspin spin-off appears, doesn't really come to much of a surprising. I don't think that this is Ducktales the series at all anymore. I think this is just the Disney Afternoon multiverse. You know, like the MCU, except it's the Disney Afternoon Universe. DAU. Yeah, this is the DAU. Well, this rebooted version of Don Carnage makes no hesitation to show just how flamboyant his pirate skills are, as he sings a random song of expressing of just how great he is. And while him and all of his pirate buddies are singing, they're looting all the treasure from the Sun Chaser, including stealing Dewey's hat. And before anyone has any time to react to this, they make their way back to their mothership, and the gold is gone. Did nobody do anything? Did literally none of the ducks do anything throughout that? Hey, you don't mess with a pirate shanty. You have to wait and listen until it's done. Yeah, but that's exploiting the system. Pirate. Yeah. Well, considering just how badly they exploit the system, one can only imagine just how overpowered the Baloo of this universe would be. Well, before the ducks could do anything about their situation, they crash land in the middle of the jungle. And so they have to repair their ship before they can get their treasure back. But Dewey is fed up with being ignored by everyone, so he decides to run off and have his own adventure, as well as trying to get his hat back. And due to Scrooge still not figuring out and can tell the triplets apart, he goes unnoticed. So Dewey goes off on his own little adventure when he comes across the find of the century. One of the sky pirates had crash landed as well, and he's about to take off to rejoin the mothership. Dewey just hitches a ride. So when they get there, Dewey lands in the pile of gold, and Don Carnage is giving his criticisms of their performance, and he ain't happy. He is not happy one bit. He even throws off the guy that we saw before back into the jungle because he was upset with the performance that they did. I mean, to their credit, the song was literally all about him. How much more praise can you get? Well, Dewey manages to find his hat, but he also immediately gets captured. And so they do what all pirates would do in this situation: tie him up and feed him to the sharks. If they had any sharks. Yeah, they're still working out the technical difficulties of flying sharks, so they're just going to keep him tied up until they figure out what to do with him. Dewey tries to argue for his life, but he also drops the info that the hat that they like just happens to belong to him. And when they ask where he got it, well, this is Dewey's time to shine. Oh, and if you're wondering about the other ducks and what they're up to, don't really worry about it. There's a small subplot involving Louie and a diamond that's corrupting him, but it's pretty off to the side, it's not really important, and it's predictable as hell. So, I'm not going to let it distract from the main review. So we cut back to Dewey, who is enthralling the Sky Pirates with his stories of this magical adventure of getting that hat. And they are amazed and awestruck about him being the chosen one of llamas or some shit. And then they express their own discomforts. Yeah, apparently Don Carnage never lets them have any real part of the song that expresses their own individuality, but rather they're just his backup chorus. And they don't like it because they think it's unfair, but what are they gonna do? He's the captain. But then Dewey points out the obvious. They're pirates! Just mutiny his ass! And so, Dewey leads an uprising mutiny of Don Carnage, throwing him off his own ship. And probably to his death. Just kidding, this is Disney. No one dies. Right? Right? No one dies, right? Well, anyway, Don Carnage is definitely perplexed, but he doesn't let a setback of his entire crew turning on him get him down. Oh no. And he just so happens to land at the exact spot with the Sun Chaser. So he comes up with a clever disguise to try to infiltrate the ducks to helping him get back to his ship. Which, if this was the 1980s, they would have definitely have fallen for it. But this is 2017, people. This type of disguise work wouldn't fool a child. Except for Launchpad. But they also realize that Don Carnage is probably their best bet of finding the other Sky Pirates as well as the rest of the treasure. So, with mutual benefits going all around, they decide to employ Don Carnage into their little group. All for selfish purposes. Speaking of purely selfish reasons, come lads, I nominate myself as ye new captain. Let us go and plunder the skies together. I don't think you're allowed to do that. Not that it matters anyway, as the Sky Pirates nominate Dewey to be their new captain. Why would they nominate a child? Well, this is Dewey's episode, don't question it.
And given the chance to be the leader of a scurvy band of pirates in the sky, giving him all the attention in the world, of course Dewey's going to do it. So, when the Sun Chaser got back in the sky, Dewey leads all the pirates into invading and boarding the Sun Chaser yet again, reimagining the song they sang from before, but it's uncharacteristically longer because everybody's trying to get a singing part and standing out in their own way. But the problem is, when everybody stands out, nobody stands out. And it makes the song uncomfortably long. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because they get captured. And once again captured by the pirates, they try to figure out who's the man in charge when they find Dewey is the man in charge. And of course he tries to show off the fact that he's in charge of all the pirates. And tries to make them feel bad that they weren't paying attention to him. But then they're forced to admit that they didn't even know he was missing. And Dewey's finally had enough and says, I'm done with the lot of you. You don't acknowledge me, so go on, get out of here. And he says they can take the gold with them. But the thing is, pirates don't give up their treasure, even if their captain tells them to. Right. So now they mutiny against Dewey, who tried to give away the treasure that they rightfully stole. Exactly! You don't do that! Which, of course, is the golden opportunity for Don Carnage to reestablish control and dominance over the other pirates. And before he has time to take revenge on Dewey for causing the mutiny, he informs his pirates that the only reason he's so hard on them is because he believes in them. He knows that they can do better, and anyone that can't do better, he chucks overboard. And of course, through traditional, silly cartoon fashion, they all forgive him immediately. But this also allows Dewey and Scrooge to reconcile as well. Dewey admits he was wrong for capturing them, and Scrooge admits he was wrong for constantly ignoring Dewey, and if they'd just listened to him to begin with, none of this would have probably have happened. So, with the battle lines drawn once again, they then proceed to have the action sequence. Ah yes! Pirate on pirate action! Exactly. As they scurry around the ship, fighting swords in the dark, the ducks try to regain their gold and put it back on the Sun Chaser. But how do they all escape? Well, Dewey has an idea. The pirates had been conditioned from day one to respond to all musical cues. So all Dewey had to do was blow his whistle, and the pirates begin singing and dancing, and allowing the Sun Chaser, as well as all the ducks, to escape. Against Don Carnage's wishes, and he vows revenge against Dewey.
From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4.
YMCA, it's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Well, the episode ends with Scrooge and Dewey finally reconciling, and Scrooge listening to all of Dewey's stories to his heart's content. And that was Sky Pirates in the Sky! Not really much to say about this episode. It was just a really good, fun episode. It's just as pretty standard. No one's listening to Dewey, so he tries to seek attention somewhere else. But they do have a neat little twist where they didn't even know he was gone. But they recognize that there were flaws on both sides, and they reconcile. And of course, the pirates and Don Carnage himself just provided the antagonist conflict for an external force throughout this episode. But the real value here isn't in the episode or its writing itself, but rather in Don Carnage. Yeah, this episode was pretty much all about Don Carnage. Yeah, I mean, it was a Dewey-centered episode, but this episode featured Don Carnage. There's a bigger implication here. I mean, do you know how many pirates the Disney characters have in general? Quite a few. They could have thrown any old pirate from the Ducktales universe in this. But instead, they went with Don Carnage. Heck, they could have just had a generic pirate fill the role. Just any old pirate. They could have made one up for the show in general. But they went with Don Carnage. I think that this is not a DuckTales universe anymore. There's too many Disney Afternoon characters and concept coincidences for me to ever believe that there is something more going on. This isn't DuckTales 2017. This is Disney Afternoon, the multiverse. This is the DAU. I'm expecting an Endgame style treatment at the very end of the series, with everybody from Disney Afternoon just colliding in one epic showdown. Oh, I think you're having your hopes a little bit too high. Considering how they written Don Carnage in this episode, I don't think my expectations are actually high enough. I mean, so far we got DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, the Gummy Bears, so it's only a matter of time before the others show up. We still got 2 more seasons of this, baby! But until then, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen. We organize your chaos. See you in DuckTales Endgame.
We dig up everything in his head. We dig until the morning light. We dig up diamonds by the store, 1,000 rupees, sometimes more. We don't know what we did them for. We dig. Alert the Queen! I think we found something!
To stand out
among the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud, till mine is the only face that you see. Gonna stand out
till you notice me.